Hi, welcome back to my confessional. This is round 12, part 2. I don't know why the lighting is so fucking bad in this room. I apologize. um, we are on round 12. Nate went home last round. Quincy is more than likely going home this round, but I did want to just recap because I didn't confess text-wise this round, so I wanted to, give all of my opinions on what's been happening. I still sort of feel bad that I didn't push harder for Petra to potentially go after Orion last round. I know that it was probably the right move for me, but looking back on it, I'm just like, what? Get off of my screen. I was just a little bit paranoid about, obviously I want to do like what I want to do, and I want to just like follow my gut and do whatever the fuck I want. But at what point do I have to also acknowledge that if I start playing too hard and playing too controlly, that I'm just going to screw myself over. So that's been a little bit of my mindset. Like, I am more than happy to go after Orion at this point, but we'll get to that because maybe my plans have changed. Maybe they've changed. Nathaniel goes home, 7 to 1 to 1. Um, then the new immunities are revealed. Kit and Petra, who now have the idol, are also now immune. And then Umar actually took both immunities from Ryan, which I think is like so iconic. And I sort of like forgot how big of a social threat Umar must be because I had to remember that he was Yvette's partner. So I was just like putting two and two together and realizing like, oh, like he's probably really crafty in game body more than he lets on. Um, so I've been keeping an eye on that. And then today, there's really been no talk about doing anything else other than no, that's a lie. The vote is going to be Quincy. I'm just going to say that outright. But like, there were a couple of other plans. Raisa apparently earlier this morning, I slept in late. Was talking to Orion and Zola about wanting to vote out Gwen potentially because of her connection to Umar, Kit, and Petra, which is like totally valid. I like totally get that, and like low key, I would have been down to do that. I think partially it's just because I don't really want Quincy to go home. Um, I would love to hold on to Quincy, but I'll get to that in a little bit as well. But apparently Orion and Zola were not really feeling that, and they just wanted to get Quincy out of the way and go to Final Eight. So there's that. Um, um, and then I was like forgetting what was going on in my head. I was like, oh no, like the Umar Orion thing. And with Quincy, like Quincy comes out of the gate and says like nobody's gonna work with me, so I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. And then apparently Quincy told Orion that Umar wanted to target him this round, which is like super ironic because I hadn't heard any of that. And like I figured I would probably be among those to hear it because to most people's understanding, Ryan and I don't have a great relationship. The connection that Raisa and Orion have to this core group of five is through Zola, who is the six. Um, so I would have sort of like expected that to be like something that Umar would have tried to run by me first, but he didn't, so I was a little suspicious. But apparently, everybody pretty much believes that Umar was going to go after Orion, and now that we're looking for Quincy to go home, we sort of come to this realization that it's probably going to be those two like butting heads right now. So that's potentially on the docket for next round. Nobody really cared that much about it, to my knowledge. So nobody is really going to do anything about it this round. Quincy eventually just says, like, I've given everything that I can at this point. So there's that. And then I eventually talk to him and I'm like, I really do like feel bad about how I like threw him under the bus to better my position. But I think he was really understanding and cognizant of how I did what I needed to do to get back in. But like, I do regret not bringing him along like Zola did with Raisa and Orion. But he was just telling me that like, if there's nothing he can do, he doesn't want to keep trying to fight when everybody's just, brushing him off. And I like really feel for that. Like I absolutely felt like that for a large portion of this game, and I'm grateful that I've been able to dig myself out of that, mental whole block, so to speak. I'm incredibly grateful for that. And like I feel horrible that like part of the reason why he's feeling the way he's feeling is because I did not reach out to him in the way that I should have to make the Daniela move happen. I think if I would have told him, he wouldn't have warned Daniela or tried to make it out, to be something against me. I think he would have been really receptive. And, that was definitely a mistake on my part not to include him. Um, I would be really surprised if Quincy is like blindsiding anybody at this point. I think like the way he's been talking to me, I think it's a little bit too far of a like emotional hole he's digging himself in. And like if he's lying about that and he's actually like blindsiding somebody, I would be genuinely upset because I feel like bad for how Quincy is saying, and I feel like I I don't know. I would be really upset if Quincy was like joking about, how this game has deteriorated his mental health and he doesn't want to do it anymore. So I'm pretty convinced that we're just going to be voting out. We're just going to be voting out Quincy. As far as next round goes, I think I'm in one of the best positions in the game. I have a 5-person group with Kit, Petra, Umar, and Gwen. I have a 4-person group with myself, Zola, Reza, and Orion. I think both sides expect me to want to work with them, and I think that ultimately I will be the one that is able to pick through which side I want to be on and which side I want to have the majority. One thing I am keeping an eye on is the potential for Umar to have the idol that him and Yvette were sleuthing around for in the beginning of the game. And then also, obviously, Kit and Petra's idol, but, unless I really fumble the bag and act very suspicious, I really doubt that they're going to use it against me, which, is part of the intention. Like, I felt super comfortable about giving Kit and Petra the idol because I went out of my way to try and protect them. And, unless I give them an indication to feel otherwise, they're going to hopefully feel positive towards me and not want to vote me out. I'm thinking back to the conversation that I had with Nathaniel about how he was thinking that I'm a criminally underestimated player or underrated. And, I really do think that that's true. Like, I'm really coming into my own, and I don't want to have the Daniela move be the only thing that I can put on my resume. I want to do more. I want to have, evidence of a strong position in the game constantly. I want to, make a case that my social game improved and I went on a positive arc that people should feel really supportive of and want to vote for. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I'm feeling optimistic for myself. I don't feel like I have any other choice but to be optimistic for myself and, to have this will to push forward and survive and kick some ass. So, unless anybody here has any questions, I'm gonna go. See y'all later. Bye. How do I stop?